Skyhawks Sports Network here, joined by head coach Johnny Cox. Coach, first, just your opening thoughts after today's 35-20 loss against William Jewell College.
Very disappointing. We had the 1984 team come back, and they finally get their rings, and for us to have so much of reason to play for, and all the offseason preparation we had, it's disappointing. We felt like we were a better team. And at times I think we showed that we've made some drastic improvements. This team beat us 42-6 last year. And this year I thought we'd be a lot better, and we are, but we've still got a ways to go in order to put this to play our best. One part of coaching football is the preparation, and without knowing what they're doing offensively or defensively at all, or special teams, not being able to watch any film, I think that contributed to the 21-3 lead of just, not being prepared, not knowing what they're in, not being not excited, but not being confident in what they're seeing. And after that point, they jumped at us on that, and then we battled back. And so I was proud that we did not fold, that we did continue to play hard. There's definitely opportunities where we could have just said, hung our head, but I felt like we came and battled back and made it into a one-score game there with about, I don't know what it was, 3 minutes left, and then we let them loose. It's a talented back, he ran for 400 yards. I didn't see that, but he had those long runs. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's gonna be D2 Player of the Week, I'd imagine. And so our goal was to contain him, but we did not reach that goal at all. So, kudos to him. I know it's jumping way far ahead, but we get to play him again next year here, and so we'll be way more prepared in an understanding of who we are. So.
Perfect, Coach. Like you said, a little bit ways to go, but numbers aside, 35-20, and even just watching, how the team progressed through the game, how they handled situations, the team is very clearly a lot better and a lot different than it was last year. Can you speak to just the growth and the mindset that the guys came out with today in week 0?
Yeah, I mean, we're changing from a team to a family, and what that means is that we're playing harder for each other and sacrificing more for each other, and we love each other more, and it shows on the field. And there was definitely situations that it looked like, oh man, if they score here, or if they get the first down here, and the defense rose to the occasion and made the big stops and made fumbles, and it kept playing football. And sometimes in the past we might not have had that same energy in those moments. So that will give us more energy, which should give us more confidence to when those moments happen, that we can do it. And in the growth, still freshman quarterback, that's kind of leading us right now. And a lot of growth that can happen at that position. And there's a lot of people that just played kind of their first games, and so there's a lot of positive. And I felt like the team spirit was excellent on the sideline. Guys leading the charge, and so you would be very pleased that way. At this moment, I'm not super excited about obviously the outcome of the game, but pleased in ways that have grown tremendously since I've been here.
Sticking with some of the young energy, Stone Walker last year, he redshirted, he played 3 games, only played a handful of snaps. Today, 160 yards rushing on the ground. He's the first Skyhawk with over 150 since 2021, not to mention 2 touchdowns, and added, another 141 yards through the air for 301 total yards tonight. Just talk about him stepping up and really taking charge of leading this team.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. I mean, we thought he was special in recruiting last year. Kept developing and learning, and let me put it like this: first of all, Stone Walker is very smart, so him learning the package was easy. He knew he was kind of behind Wingo, and Wingo kind of showed him ways, and he gained confidence, and he has to continue to gain patience. But he has not played his best football yet, and that's my job to make sure that he continues to grow. And for Skyhawk fans, one day when he starts playing his best football, I mean, it's going to be unreal. So definitely has a lot of potential there, and he's a natural leader. That's one thing with him out there, you can really feel like from the quarterback position that it's a guy that's dedicated, a guy that will call his teammates out if they're not doing things right, and a guy that brings a lot of energy. And so we're really excited about where he's at. We got to continue to get better, and this is what happens a lot of times. Is we have the emotional game. Guys are upset. Now we got 2 weeks before our next game, and the difference between our first game and the second game has to be a tremendous improvement, and I believe it will. We have good leaders on both sides of the ball.
Another bright spot I noticed on the offensive side of the ball, number 24, Jamal Johnson. He redshirted last year, but he didn't actually play, in the new 3-game NCAA minimum. And I mean, today's his first ever collegiate appearance and 9 carries for 51 yards, and he averaged about 5.7 a carry. Talk about him just jumping in and kind of being a workhorse.
Yeah, we actually we think Jamal's a good player. We thought Jamal was going to have a really good season as a true freshman last year. Unfortunately, he had an injury right before the first game. So, we kind of knew that, hey, this kid's going to be a really good player. But then, he got hurt again in the spring-ish, and then these were his first real snaps of football. So it was really good to see him kind of go out there and play the way that we think he can play. And he can make people miss, and he has, really good balance, and he's a real tough kid. And, again, a freshman, so you got guys that they're considered redshirt freshmen. So you have guys that we really feel like there's a reason internally we think we got a lot better.
Turning over to the defensive side of the ball, last season it seemed like teams attacked the secondary a lot. They took a lot of deep shots, tried to move the ball downhill pretty quickly. Today you guys only allowed 75 yards of passing from William Jewell. It's the first time since September 28th of 2019 that you've held someone under 100 yards passing. Can you talk about the defensive growth in the secondary?
Yeah, I feel like, we continue to get more athletic back there and more experience. That was the key. We had, some first-year guys playing last year, and they're first-year guys. When you have 3 or 4 first-year guys playing, you're just the continuity, the confidence is not necessarily where it needs to be now. Those guys are second-year guys for the most part, and we've added some freshmen that just have to have roles now. They don't have to be starters out there battling for the entire game. So those guys are going to be, they compete in practice, and they're going to be improved, and they have a lot of confidence kind of going into passing situations. So yeah, I feel like we're going to continue to get a lot better.
Another defensive player I want to look at is Jake Penny. He had 9 tackles today, all solo tackles. 3 of them were tackles for loss. He's been given number 0 for the year, your guys' agent 0. And last year he led the team and finished 8th in the RMAC with 80 total tackles. What does a guy like that with that kind of mentality do for the locker room and kind of just the mood of the defense as a whole?
Yeah, I love Jake Penny. He's gotten better and better every single year. He has progressed from being like a scout team player to having a role last year, and then this year kind of really amping it up. He's fast linebacker that knows his fits and brings energy every day, and understands the entire defense, can really try to help align people up, and again, definitely getting good leadership. And you kind of spoke to it earlier when you were asking about how I felt about some of the energy. It's because of the leadership, not necessarily me, and then the leader, Jake Penny, is a really good leader, so him and Stone have really kind of taken on those leadership roles, and so I'm really excited about him.
Perfect. Lastly, Coach, we'll close it out with this. Heading into a week 1 bye now, you got week 0 under your feet, got to see some game film, got to see what guys could do. Is there a specific game plan that you guys have for tackling the extra week of preparation ahead of Arizona Christian?
Yeah, well, we'll have some film, so finally we'll get to, evaluate that tomorrow. I didn't think about that. And then we'll put in a preliminary game plan. And we've played them for 2 years, so I think for pretty much the same coordinator, so we should have an idea of what they're going to do. So we'll go into that. We'll dive into that. We'll make our corrections from this game and see kind of, as the team goes along, we kind of see what type of personality, how we're going to be successful with this team. So we'll try to apply that to what we know about Arizona Christian, and we'll try to get after it. So we're gonna, for this week, we'll practice kind of Monday through Thursday, and then we'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then we'll hit the ground running next Monday, and we should be rested, we should be focused, and we should give the people of Durango and our community reason to celebrate after the game next year or next week. So we're excited about that challenge, and we felt like we did it this week, but we just fell short a few plays.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.